Welcome to the Gay Buddhist Forum, where teachers from all schools of Buddhism offer their perspectives on the Dharma and its application in modern times, especially for LGBTQI audiences. These talks are offered freely to the world and made possible by appreciative listeners. If you would like to support our efforts to share the Dharma with underserved audiences, please visit gaybuddhist.org. There you can donate, find a list of upcoming speakers, or enjoy many hundreds of these recorded talks dating back to 1996.
Welcome back. We'll go around the room and say our names. I'm George.
My name is Cass.
Bob.
Clint.
Jim.
Steve.
Matthew.
Gorgeous.
Jeffrey. Stephanie. Jerry. Bob.
Josh.
Andy. Tony.
Jack.
I'm Tom.
I'm Brad.
Michael.
Hi. And this is Eugene Cash.
Eugene.
Cash is the founding teacher of the San Francisco Insight Meditation Community of San Francisco. He teaches at Spirit Rock Meditation Center and leads intensive meditation retreats internationally. His teaching is influenced by both Burmese and Thai streams of the Theravadan tradition, as well as Zen and Tibetan Buddhist practice. He is also a teacher of the Diamond Approach, a school of spiritual investigation and self-realization, developed by A.H. Almas. Thank you, Eugene. Welcome. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here with you all. Please wave at me if I'm not speaking loud enough so you can hear it. And just to be more precise about my biography, San Francisco Insight doesn't exist anymore. It went like this. After 35 years, I stepped down from there and it's over. And it was a big deal, but really kind of great. And part of what I'll speak about today will include the impermanence of everything. And so San Francisco Insight is impermanent, like all of us. And where I've been until yesterday, I came home yesterday, I've been teaching retreats at Spirit Rock. And I taught one retreat called the Fall Insight Retreat, a 10-day retreat. Then I had a one-day turnaround and started the Maranasati retreat. Maranasati is mindfulness of death. And how many people know the Maranasati Sutta? Anybody? Okay, do you know where Maranasati is in Buddhist teachings? Anybody? Great. Makes it more exciting. No, but because it's very interesting where it is. It's in the first foundation of mindfulness, or another translation I often use is the first foundation of awareness. And so it starts with the introduction to the Four Foundations that is said to lead to freedom, and then it talks about mindfulness of the body, posture, which you can feel right now. Just feel your body, just like it is. Relax, don't even move. And you don't, because it's right here, your body. And you can just be aware of it experientially, not conceptually. I mean, you can be conceptual too. I'm very inclusive about things like that. But experience is where the juice is in mindfulness. So just feel your body means you're being mindful of the body. And being mindful of the body somewhat means conceptually you know you're sitting, whether you're on a cushion or a chair. And it means you're aware of the, like if you feel your body, you might notice it feels heavy or light, or it feels warm or cool, or it might feel, you might notice the more subtle sensations of the pulsing of your heart and blood, or of course you may notice that your body is breathing. That's all part of mindfulness of the body in one of the components of that, which is mindfulness of posture, of just sitting here. And then, of course, there's mindfulness of the breath, which many people practice and is quite a central teaching both in Buddhism and many other traditions, to be mindful of the breath. And then it goes on and says to be aware in all activity is part of mindfulness of the body. And this is a key piece for me. Be mindful of the body in all activities, sitting, standing, walking, lying down, eating, right, drinking, urinating, defecating, speaking, and keeping silent is a mindfulness of the body practice. So right now I'm speaking and mindful of this body as it speaks. And I want to encourage you to be mindful of your body even before my words. Notice how you can feel your body or sense your body and still understand me. Is that doable? Anybody not understand me? Oh, yeah, it's just me. It's, what? Do you understand me if you feel your body?
Yeah, actually, okay.
Okay, good. Okay. And so just that is a 24/7 practice. If you want, and people often want to know, how do you practice everywhere? I'm giving you the secret teaching. And I'm kidding a little because I like to kid a lot, but also I'm being serious. You can practice this. Nobody at Safeway has to know you're meditating when you're walking through and paying for your food or anywhere else. And you can do it in relationship with your family, with your friends, with your community. You can even do it if you're politically active. You can do it when you're active. Because your centeredness, which comes from mindfulness, comes from awareness of being here in the moment, is the key. And it's the key to the Dharma living in the world. And I believe that's important. So, because I was doing Maranasati, which is then, so it's the mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of breath, mindfulness in all activities, mindfulness of the elements, which is a more traditional way to be aware of the body, earth, air, fire, water elements are right here. They're part of our cellular nature, and you could be aware of that, the heaviness of earth, or the fluidity of even this is a part of the water element, or the breath is part of the air element, or the warmth of the body, or coolness is all part of the fire element, and you can feel that experientially. And again, if you come to teachings with me, I'm pushing the experiential reality. That's where the juice is. And that's where the juice is from start to finish. Because Buddhism's great to read about, think about, all that stuff, all good. But really, what's interesting to me is the aliveness of what can wake up. And what can wake up is right here. It's right here. Nowhere else. There was one of my friends, Joseph Goldstein, who some people know. How many people here know who Joseph is? Joseph Goldstein. One of the founders of Insight Meditation Society on the East Coast, which is a sister center of Spirit Rock where I teach. How did I get to Joseph? Let me just think. I'm forgetting. Maybe it'll come back. Oh shit, I hate that when I lose it. I said one of my teachers, and he is, but I can't remember why I said that, so we'll keep going. So, I remember why. Because Joseph's teacher, whose name was Munindraji, one of his first teachers, he would always point to Joseph and say, the whole Dharma's right here. The whole Dharma's right here. And what's cool is it's true. The whole Dharma is sitting in your seat. Everything I say, everything all the Buddhist books say, they're all pointing at you. They're all pointing at this, as the aliveness of consciousness in human form, and how wild that is, and how much we take it for granted, and how much it won't be here in this way forever. And so that's how I got to there, because I was teaching mindfulness of death. And so that's the next segment after the elements, is mindfulness of death in the body section of the Four Foundations of Awareness, is being mindful of the fact that the body is temporary. Everybody got that? Good. That's and it's a great, in my opinion, it's a great part of the teaching, and really a beautiful part, because it's so real and it's so ordinary and it's normal. And I gave one whole talk in the opening talk in that retreat was about the normalcy of death. And it's not a mistake, and it's not we do something wrong, it's just the truth of the way things are. And it doesn't mean we like it. I'm not saying you have to like it or love it or think it's great that we die, but just to start to be objective is the beginning of freedom. Because we're on one level, this is me, right? Everybody got it? How do I look today? Okay? Good. Oh, I got some thumbs up from Clint. Good, thank you. I knew that, but that's saying out loud. But really, this is not me. This is my body, right? And this body and me will not always be together. And because we don't know what happens to consciousness when the physical body dies. And that gets interesting to me personally. And I have maybe I've talked about this here, I don't remember. I had a near-death experience about 15 years ago, and that was a big deal. And I don't recommend it, it was, and I had a bad bicycle accident, hit my head, hospital for 5 weeks, but for the first week, we didn't know what was going to happen, and I survived, and I'm glad I survived. I like being alive; it's pretty cool, but it won't be here forever. Eugene won't be here in this way forever. So, and I love that Buddhism is about being real, because being real is the key to being free. And I could talk about it any which way, but it's the how do I want to say it? The misuse of the truth is really a great disservice to all of us. And I don't know what your political leanings might be, but for mine, I see that the truth is being misused a lot these days in politics. And in Buddhism, Dharma, the translation I like for Dharma is truth. Literally means truth, or sometimes the truth of the way things are. And truth is highly valued in many religions. Christianity, it said, the truth will set you free. And it's true. It's good Dharma, even if it's Christian Dharma. The truth will set you free. And so I love that all the teachings, even of mindfulness, is about being real and true. We're aware of the breath. We're aware it might be a short breath, or a long breath, or a full breath, or a shallow breath, or a pleasant breath, or unpleasant. Doesn't matter. We want to be aware of what's true as we breathe. And it's not thinking about it, but just feeling the shortness, or the length, or the fullness, or the shallowness. Again, I'm using concepts to keep pointing at going beyond concept. And then, and it's the same with being mindful of the body and the posture. It's just feeling it. It's an experiential reality. That's true however you feel in the moment, whether you like how you feel or not. That's not the underlying direction of Buddhism. As much as Buddhism's being perpetrated, I think that's the right word, as being, oh, it's so good, and you feel better, and then your mind calms, and your heart opens. That's good if that happens, we like that, but that's not what Buddhism is actually about. It's about awakening to the truth. It's about awakening. And so the first talk I gave was about the normalcy of death. And then the last talk I gave was about awakening. And I hadn't given this talk before, so I gave it Friday, which is like 2 days ago, and I liked it. It was a good talk. And I don't like my talks are good enough generally, but I like this. So we'll see if you like it, because I want to talk more about awakening, which is grounded in this first foundation of mindfulness. The last, after each of those sections, I don't think I brought it here. Let me see. No, because I used it in the first talk a lot. After each little section of the mindfulness of the body, there's the insight. And the insight reads something like this. I'm improvising, so I don't have it precise. But it's something like, one is mindful of the body internally, one is mindful of the body externally, one is mindful of the body both internally and externally, and then one is mindful of the arising of the body and the dissipating of the body. The impermanence of the body is what it's pointing to. And one is mindful that there is just the body. So can be very simple. And then it says, and when one is aware in this way, one is independent, not clinging to anything in this world. And that's pointing at how freedom is talked about. One abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That's freedom. And of course, in the first talk, I talked a lot about, well, what do you cling to? Does anybody here not cling? Right? And so it's common. We all cling, I'm clinging to the pen and right now and the talk. And, even light clinging. But what's true when we see clearly through the eyes of the Dharma is there's nothing we can actually hold on to. Everybody get that? Or even hear that? That actually nothing in reality we can hold on to. And I'm going to leave some time, plenty of time for questions or comments to me. I love it. If you don't believe what I'm saying, tell me later. Really, because it gets really interesting to bring the Dharma to the whole room in that alive way. So, So so there's nothing we can actually hold on to. That's the insight with simply being mindful of the body, is that insight that freedom is available. Just to be aware of this. Right through this, freedom, awakening. And so I talked about awakening, as I said, and I like to look up words, and I looked up the word awake, which from the dictionary, this is official, it means to wake from sleep. Okay, everybody got that? To be awake. It also means to regain consciousness. It's an interesting slant. And then the third one, awake to, means to become aware of. To be awake means to become aware of. Also, come to a realization, to awaken to realization. And that's what Buddha pointed at. And so to awaken means to remain awake, to not go back to sleep. And also the word, the etymology of the word, which I love the etymology of words, because there's so much Dharma in the etymology that nobody knows about. I don't even know about it until I look it up. And so awake comes from the Old English, and you'll excuse my pronunciation, but it's awaken. And that's the origin of the word awake in English. And it means to spring into being. Is that cool? To spring into being. We're not talking small b here, we're talking big B being. To spring into being. It also means to arise or originate. It's the freshness of reality being known. It's the freshness of this moment being known. And here's another piece that we emphasized a lot in the retreat, because we were mostly focusing the mindfulness practice on mindfulness of the body, sitting, walking, standing, all that stuff, but also each moment, because every moment is born and then dies. Every moment is here and then it's gone. Remember the last moment? It was just a moment ago. Anybody remember that? It's not here anymore. Anybody ever come here when I was here before? Anybody remember me at all? Right? Remember, that's gone, right? The past is gone. It's literally gone. Each moment is gone. And then this moment is brand new, and it's only here for an infinitesimal moment. I mean, moment's almost too big a word for how it's just and then and we can start to abide in that, in the harmony of the truth of reality, which is just unfolding moment by moment by moment. And so the etymology to spring into being, to rise, to originate, points to the freshness of reality that's here right now. And on one hand, I could say I gave this talk 2 days ago, but already this talk is fresh, it's new, it's way different than what I talked about, because you're different, I'm different, also the setting is different, the context is different. It's brand new, this talk, even though I gave this talk 2 days ago. And the name of the retreat is Contemplating Death, Awakening to Life. And that's the beauty of contemplating death, of contemplating mortality, or contemplating the immediacy of each moment coming alive. And about, contemplating death, awakening to life. And then I talked about awareness and the presence of awareness, because awareness is not a thing, it's a presence, and presence is not a thing. It's a state of being presence that's being pointed to, that's beyond the usual sense of self, or what we call the small sense of self in Buddhism. Sometimes it's called the big sense of self, or Buddha nature, or the magic of aliveness that can know itself. That's right here. That's sitting in each seat right here. There's nowhere to go to find it, because it's right where you are. The whole Dharma is right here. So this is one of my favorite Buddhist quotes, and I'm addicted to Buddhist quotes. I want to, I go to a Buddhist 12-step group. I'm addicted to Buddhist quotes. So this is from Zen Master Dogen, who said, to study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to awaken. To forget the self is to awaken or become intimate. It's the same translation. It's the various translation of the word from Japanese. To forget the self is to be awakened or become intimate with all things. And it points to the relaxation that's possible when we don't hold on to anything, even our identity. that there's a permeability to reality that we are part of. That the atmosphere of reality is made up of a million, let's say this, I'm making this up, but a million or a billion, cells or something. I'm not a scientist, so I probably got this wrong. But, whatever makes up each iota of atmosphere, right? And we're part of that. We're just a more coagulated part of that atmosphere of reality that is called the human being. And so what he's saying is to study the Buddha way is to study the self. So we study our self. We want this, we don't want this, we like this, we don't like this. Here's my identity. I'm Eugene, I'm a teacher, I'm a this. I love to swim in the bay. That's a big part of my identity these days. Things like that. And to study the self, he says, is to forget the self. What does that mean? Anybody know?
I think if you become aware of the world around you.
That's one nice way to say it. I'm going to, please.
No longer identify with just this.
Good. Yeah. To forget the self is to let go of the self, is to relax the identification with self. And with that, we open to the world, which you were pointing at. We open to others. We open to all of reality. We're not static. What we are is not static. It's alive. And it's wild. And that's the best thing I'm going to say tonight. It's wild, because it is wild to be alive, because we won't always be alive in this way. So, let's see. So, to study the Buddha way, study self, be awakened, become intimate with all things. So part of what practice is, whether it's daily practice, group practice, retreat practice, and just because it's my I want to say it's my shtick, but that's not a nice way to say it. It's my work. I want to encourage you all to go on retreats at Spirit Rock or anywhere else, but go on retreats. Once a year, go on a retreat for a few days, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, not just a one day. Go a little longer, because it's a gift to yourself and to the world to actually just sit down and stop. And it's not like you don't do anything at Spirit Rock. You'll be doing sitting meditation, walking meditation, eating meditation, peeing meditation, shitting meditation, and listening to talks meditation. And so there's plenty to do. But it really allows you to rest into being. Not just be a human doing, but be a human being, which you all already are. It's like coming home to oneself. And I think it's very helpful. So, and you get to really discover both the means and the potency of awakened awareness. And it's awareness that we are cultivating at retreat. And is anybody not aware right now? Let me just see. Everybody's aware. Great. And you want to be aware of what you're aware of. That's part of mindfulness. And then at some point you start to be aware of what is it that's aware of what we're aware of. What is it that is aware of what we're aware of? Which is sometimes a little more confusing. Because we ask people to just be aware of awareness, and they're like, what? Because it's the water we swim in, right? Like the fish aren't aware of the water, it's reality. And yet, can anybody stop being aware? No, I mean stop it. Stop being aware. Anybody?
When you're intoxicated.
Pardon?
When you're intoxicated.
Well, are you intoxicated right now?
No.
Okay, stay in the lived moment. We're talking about living and dying, and maybe you're not aware, but a lot of people who are intoxicated are aware that they're aware of all of that. It's not. I like to get intoxicated by the Dharma, and that has its own pluses and minuses. Trust me, but in fact, it's beautiful you bring up intoxicated, because one of my many favorite Buddhist quotes, the Buddha talks about his being intoxicated with youth, intoxicated with health, and intoxicated with life. I love this sutta. It's great. And there's many myths in Buddhism. The main myth that led Buddha to awakening was that he saw an aged person, a sick person, an aged person, a dying person, and then he saw a practitioner who was practicing meditation, and that sent him to seek awakening. The other myth that I like even better is about this intoxication. He realizes that he was intoxicated with youth, with health, with life itself. And when he realized that, and he says the intoxication with youth vanished. And at some point the intoxication with health vanished. And the intoxication with life itself vanished. And something was freed up just from that. Because we're so identified, everybody agree, with youth, health, life. And yet none of them are static. They're all just part of the changing phenomena of reality that we also are. We are a manifestation of living impermanence. And the Buddha, one more little Buddhist quote that I like, the Buddha always said, if you understand the truth of impermanence fully, you'll be free. Because it's so profound, true, and simple. It's just, everything is impermanent, including us. And so it's not a bad thing, it's just coming into harmony with all of reality, and freedom happens. So all of this I was talking about awareness. I wanted to say this, another Buddhist quote from Longchenpa, who was one of the founders of the Dzogchen tradition, which is in the Vajrayana lineage of Buddhism. And I had the great good fortune about 7 years ago now to go to Bhutan and go to his cave in Bhutan. And there's a great quote that I love from Longchenpa, who said, awareness is always refreshing itself. Awareness is always refreshing itself. And remember what I said about the etymology of awake? It's spring into being, arise, originate. So awake and awareness are totally unified in that originate, at least with my interpretation in Longchenpa. So he says awareness is always refreshing itself. Siri is commenting on me. Awareness is always refreshing itself, always newly arriving. Always newly arriving. You can neither obtain this awareness nor lose it. Okay? Everybody got that? Right? Awareness is always refreshing itself, always newly arriving. You can neither obtain this awareness nor lose it. And then he says, I salute the spontaneously perfect universal creativity, self-refreshing awareness. Universal creativity as the teacher, a direct teaching that you do not need to strive for. I invoke the turning of the wheel of the natural great perfection of spontaneous presence. And so he's in harmony with the understanding of awareness as a presence of mind and heart, as a presence of being. And then I have a whole piece in here. I don't think I'm going to read it to you, from Bhikkhu Analayo, who's one of the great scholars and practitioners of Buddhism. I'll read it to you and then I'll stop. No, I want to go further. I don't want to stop here. So, okay, what else did I say? I said awakening is here and now, and that's true on every level. One moment of just being here and being aware, we wake up to the simplicity of being. It's just a moment. We awaken to life, which is right here, in just a moment, and only for a moment, and then the next moment of life is here. And even though we thread the moments together so we think they're continuous, they're not. They're all just arising and passing each moment. And if you let go of the thread that you've used, you can actually, usually on long retreats, you can actually see the moment by moment reality appearing and disappearing, because it lives and dies each moment. And the key to awakening is to be right here where we are. This is the moment where awakening happens on every level. And so that's in harmony with what Dogen said about becoming intimate with all things. Right? When we let go of the self, we become intimate or awaken with all things. It's right here, awakening. And it's the love of the truth that is the nourishment for all awakening. It's the love of the Dharma, the truth, that nourishes awakening. It's the love of life that nourishes awakening. It's the love of all beings, like everybody here, that nourishes awakening, because it's the opening of the heart. And one of the metaphors for awakening in Buddhism that I love, it's called the sure heart's release. The sure heart's release. Like, instead of calling it nibbana or nirvana or liberation or enlightenment, it's the sure heart's release. It's the letting go of everything, because there's nothing we can hold on to. And then there's, boom, something awakens in the human body, mind, soul, heart. And it's hard to talk about awakening. And here in the classic Theravada, which I teach in, mostly Theravada Buddhism, here's how awakening is described. It is the unformed, the unconditioned, the end, the truth, the other shore, the subtle, the everlasting, the invisible, the undiversified, peace, the deathless, the blessed, safety, the wonderful, the marvelous, nibbana, purity, freedom, the island, the refuge, the beyond. And you hear all these different words are pointing at the same thing. And I say all these different words because none of it, they're all pointers, because it's indescribable awakening. Freedom is indescribable in that way. Okay. And then two more Eugene's Buddhist quotes. This is from Shantideva, who said, "As a blind person feels when they find a pearl in the dustbin, so I'm amazed by the miracle of awakening arising in my consciousness." As a blind person feels when they find a pearl in a dustbin, so I am amazed by the miracle of awakening arising in my consciousness. It is the nectar of immortality that delivers us from death. The treasure that lifts us above lifts us above poverty into the wealth of giving to life. The tree that gives shade to us when we roam about scorched by earth. The bridge that takes us across the stormy river of life. The cool moon of compassion that calms our mind when it is agitated. The sun that dispels darkness. The butter made from the milk of kindness by churning it with the Dharma. It is a feast of joy to which all are invited. So those are a few thoughts about awakening and what's possible. Any comments, questions, opinions, likes, dislikes, please.
I just want to thank you for reminding me of so many things that I didn't realize I knew.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's great. And it's important what you're saying because everybody knows these things. This is so common sense we don't even think we know it. It's here. And yet we forget. Great. Thank you. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Eugene. Like just yesterday I was contemplating this idea of awareness and realizing that, there's a tendency for me to narrow my experience through one sense, or, maybe a couple.
Sure.
And like you were saying, all these things are pointers, right?
Yeah.
But to describe an experience just in terms of I saw this, or this is what I'm seeing, or I'm hearing this, limits it. And like I was realizing I can experience something with my whole being, with my whole body, right?
Yeah.
So for instance, we hear subtle sounds and vibrations, but we can feel larger vibrations. Like I felt the beat of the music in my body, people say, right? I sensed the earthquake before it arrived, And so there's
please tell us if that happens again about sensing the earthquake before it arrives. We all want to know because I'm not sensing it before it arrives. But go ahead.
But there is this, just this realization that we have an expansive awareness if we stop narrowing it down to.
Well, here I'm going to two things. Great, what you're saying. We have an expansive awareness. At some point, we can also realize we are that awareness. It's not something we have. It is here. You can't get rid of it. As far as I can tell. And I'm open to trying weird stuff, but really it's all right here. Like sometimes people say, well, what do you mean be aware of awareness? And I just say stop being aware. Because something's here being aware, whether we know we're being aware or not, it doesn't matter. It's happening. Because awareness is here. And it may not be a thing because awareness is not a thing. And that's what's hard for humans. We like things. And then I'm going to go to the other side because I like to be contrarian. You can also get enlightened by just being aware of the simplicity and the minutia of each experience of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching. And a great, probably my all-time favorite sutta is about Bahia of the bark cloth. How many people know Bahia? Check out Bahia, really. Bahia was cool. So Bahia was somebody who wanted to get awakened. He was trying to get awakened, and it wasn't happening, and he prayed to the gods, in that time in the Vedic world, and a god came down and said, oh, you're not going to get awakened. You're doing the wrong practice. If you're interested, go see this guy who's over, in Varanasi, the Buddha. And Bahia was an ascetic. See, so all he wore was bark cloth. That was his gear. kind of cool gear for that era. I'm not into it myself, but so he goes, and it's said mythologically, he travels, he walks 100 miles overnight, goes to the Buddha and says, oh, please, teach me the Dharma. And the Buddha, I love this story, the Buddha's got his bowl, which is probably that big, because he's going for alms round. He's hungry. He's doing one meal a day, so he's saying, I'm happy to teach you another time, but not now. I'm going to lunch. But Bahia is very dedicated, so he asks him again. And the Buddha said, no, sorry, lunchtime, I want to get there before they stop giving out the food. He starts to go, and Bahia trumps him. Bahia said, well, kind sir, we don't know if you will live or I will live till the next moment. So please give me the teachings now. And so the Buddha stops and says, okay, I'm going to give you the teachings. Listen, Bahia. And the teachings are literally, in the seen, just the seen. In the heard, just the heard. In the felt, just the felt. In the cognized, just the cognized. When you practice in this way, just the seen, in the seen, just the heard, in the heard, etc., you will not be here, you will not be there, and you will not be in between. Just this is the end of suffering. And I'm going to say that last part again. He said, if you practice in this way, in the seen, just the seen, in the heard, just the heard, in the felt, just the felt, in the cognized, just the cognized, then Bahia, you will not be here, nor there, nor in between. Just this is the end of suffering. And what he's pointing to is the absolute immediacy of each moment, with nobody thinking about, oh, I'm aware of it. It just is. And the isness is totally empty at the same time that it's full. Something like that. Great. Thank you for that. Because I love Bahia, really. I'm an old Bahia guy. Who else? Please. Quint, how are you?
I'm okay.
How
are you?
I'm great.
Okay.
I'm happy to almost be done, and I can go see the 49ers game. Come on.
Well, no, I'll keep that question short so you don't miss that.
Thank you.
I just want to follow up on what you just said, because first, I'm not very good at being in the present moment. I have my favorite tapes I like to play while I'm waiting for a bus or walking down the street. But there were times where I catch me doing it, and for an experience, I'm just going to be in the present moment. So then I do that, and I note everything around me, and it becomes more vivid and more real.
Yeah.
But every time, sometimes, very, very rarely, and maybe it's what we're talking about, I'm aware without being aware that I'm aware. And it's magical. It's kind of like, there's not a person observing this. There's just
there's a knowing. There's a direct knowing.
Yeah, so was that what you were talking about?
Yeah. No, and it's beautiful because Ajahn Chah, who's really one of the fathers of the lineage I teach in, he was Jack Kornfield's teacher, Ajahn Chah, and I have been taught and mentored by Jack. Ajahn Chah would say it this way, be aware of what you know, and then be aware of the one who knows. The one who knows is free. And thank you. You brought Ajahn Chah into the room and his teaching.
This doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, but we'll take it. There's only right now anyways. When it's good, Clint. Okay, thank you. Got a couple more minutes.
Hi, Eugene.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Eugene. Thank you. I feel so grateful for your talk, and I did a lot of practice with Donald Rothberg. I'm terrible at last names, but
Donald Rothberg, you're good.
he said, and he quoted Reggie Ray about the Vedas, and said, 95% of practice is done here. So before we even get to the Vedas, if we can be really only here and really right now, only now, we can simply spring into being, as you said. I love that etiology or etymology. And it's not in time or space. But in parallel to. It's, the deathless.
That's one of the names of awakening.
Yeah. So.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Interesting. Reggie Ray, I keep hearing some things about Reggie, but I don't know what's going on. Some people are not happy with Reggie, who's a Tibetan teacher, and it's true. It's and the Vedana that Jeff was pointing at. Vedana is the second foundation of mindfulness, and the four foundations: mindfulness of body, what's called feeling, but it's really feeling tone, or the Vedana. The third foundation is heart and mind, chitta, and the fourth foundation is dharmas. And Vedana is the feeling tone of every moment, of every experience. And some experiences are pleasant, some are unpleasant, and then some are neither pleasant nor unpleasant. And it's a very subtle but pervasive component of mindfulness, because usually we know we like what's pleasant, we don't like what's unpleasant, we don't even think about what's neither pleasant nor unpleasant, because it's not very interesting to us. But it's a great part of mindfulness practice, so I'm glad you brought that into the room here today too. Thank you, Jeff.
Eugene?
Yeah.
That sutta you mentioned at the beginning, was that the Satipatthana Sutta?
Which sutta? What did I mention?
About the awareness of the body, the different.
That's the Satipatthana Sutta.
Okay.
That's the Four Foundations of Awareness or Mindfulness. And my favorite translation personally is Bhikkhu Bodhi. And he wrote the Majjhima Nikaya, which is the middle-length sayings of the Buddha, and it's number 10. And and there's a zillion other good suttas, but that's the one I like. Mm-hmm. There's also here's another one I like, which is the advice to Natapindika. I think it's 143, and it's about what the Buddha's main disciple said to Natapindika as he was approaching death, and it's good, it's profound, and it's all about not holding on to anything. So I think I'm about done. Yeah, great. Just let me say thank you all. Good to be here with you all. Keep practicing, and I'll see you somewhere in reality.
Thank you. We have announcements. We have.
Yes, I'm your host today, and there are snacks out on the whatever. They're out there. There's something vegan, probably. The nuts, I think, are safely vegan, and the small little tangerines. When you're done with your cups, your teacups, just put them in the sink, and I'll take care of them. I will be outside in that area with the Dana bowl. And your generosity that helps keep this whole thing going. The rental of the space, an honorarium for our teachers, the Larkin Street dinners. Did you want to mention that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Clint will give a little shout out for that. The Larkin Street dinners, which we've just renewed doing, and also our quarterly newsletter that mostly goes out to incarcerated individuals. And the end of this month, the last Sunday of this month, it's when we prepare the newsletters for mailing. So think about joining us and helping us on the 30th of November. I think that's it pretty much. At 12:30, often people congregate at the front door and go out to lunch. And did I miss anything? I think that's it.
The day long, did you want to mention?
Oh, yes. Yes, on November 23rd, we're going to be we're doing something. We will not have our regular Sangha meeting on the 23rd here. We will be having a day long with David Moreno. We'll called Dynamic Stillness. And so there's going to be some somatic work and meditation, and it will be from 9:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. It's free, although we encourage people to give dana, and lunches will be provided, and you can register for it on our site, gaybuddhist.org, if you go to the retreats section.
Thank you, Matt. Any other announcements? Good.
Well, as Matt mentioned, I say this every Sunday, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself to a lot of people. But we had a long tradition, 9 years, of doing a monthly dinner at the Larkin Street Youth Center, which is a homeless shelter for young people. And it was very well received, and it was a good experience for all people involved. We had to stop it because of COVID. Now we're trying to bring it back again. We've had 2 dinners already, and we're still trying to work out the kinks. So what is involved is the third Saturday every month, show up. We'll have the food there. We'll have menus. Just help prepare the food in the kitchen of the shelter. And I don't know whether someone was done about it, but as of November 1st, millions of people aren't going to get food stamps that they were getting before. So food is a very important issue, and I know the Larkin Street people, they're good people that take care of these young people, but they don't have a big budget, so the meals are very simple. No desserts or anything like that. So we give them like a bigger meal than normal. It's a very rewarding experience, but the thing is, we're kind of sputtering along right now. I need to have a bigger pool of volunteers before I'm confident this is going to continue on. I like to have it continue, but right now it's kind of, it may or may not. So it's something, and again, we're talking about, you're not signing your life away. If you volunteer, doesn't mean you have to be there every month, or just being a pool of volunteers. If that's something you don't want to do, just contact me outside. I'll give you contact information. When I said at dinner, I'll contact you. Okay.
When's the next one?
Well, it's the 15th, because the first day of the month is a Saturday, so the third Saturday is like real close by, so I'm kind of scrambling to get this in together. Other Saturdays are probably into the month, but this is the 15th.
Thank you, Clint. Anybody else? Announcements? Should we gather together in a circle for the dedication of merit? Would you like to do a dedication of merit first, Eugene?
Sure. Yeah. Taking a moment to reflect on the blessing and goodness that we have to be here today, to be alive, to be aware, and to be able to share the Dharma together, and to really nurture and bathe in the goodness of the Dharma, the truth of the teachings. And may the blessings that we experience, may it go out in every direction, touching beings in our families, our communities, in our cities, in our countries, in our continents, in our worlds, touching human beings and non-human beings, and letting the blessings of the Dharma permeate reality above, below, to every side. May all beings be happy and peaceful. May all beings be safe, protected. May all beings be as healthy as possible. May all beings live with ease. May all beings be free. May we all awaken together to discover, to realize our true nature, our Buddha nature. Ding.
Thank you for listening to the Gay Buddhist Forum. If you would like to hear several new talks per month and be notified of upcoming speakers so you can participate live, please subscribe to this podcast, like us on Facebook, and join our mailing list by visiting gaybuddhist.org.